Hi, Steve here from Angels Plus. Did you just order one of these, or are you considering ordering one? Well, this little video here is going to give you a small tutorial on what to do when you receive it, how to put it together, and how to use it. First thing I want to talk to you about is what to do when you go about ordering one of these. First, I highly recommend that you do not have a fishless cycle going in your tank, because our experience is that whenever we have a problem with an active filter, it's with somebody doing a fishless cycle. I don't know if it's the ammonia, the type of ammonia, or if it's some other interference, but we highly recommend that you just have a tank of clear water set up, ready to go for when you receive the filter to put it in. First thing you're going to do is when you order one of these, try to avoid ordering it so they travel over a weekend or a holiday, or by a slow method like ground when you're in California and we're in New York. Try to make it so that the filter gets to you in a relatively quick time frame, like 2 to 3 days. Doesn't have to be next day, but 2 to 3 days is definitely a good time frame to shoot for. Just pay attention to how far away you are before you order it, and the time of the week it is would be, semi-important. The temperature is not really a concern. Doesn't matter if it's, cold out. Doesn't really matter if it's warm out. The bacteria survives from freezing all the way up to 180 degrees, and since it's inside of a box, even when it's 0 outside, they ship quite well, as long as, like I said, they're not in transit for too many days. Okay, when you receive one of these in the mail, it's going to be a wet filter. It's not wet in this video because I didn't want to get all wet taking the video, but it's going to have been in our tanks for 30 to 60 days, and we're going to enclose it in a plastic bag with some water, some gunky water, and you want to make sure that gunky water goes into your tank along with this filter, and you want to put it in your tank relatively soon after you get it. Immediately is good. The filter is going to be in one bag, and you're going to have a lift tube that's going to be separate. You want to take your air source, for whatever air source you have, get an air line coming from that air source, have that air line coming to the lift tube. There's a small hole in the top of the lift tube here. Just feed your air line down into that and push it down in about 5 inches. Lift tube's about 6 inches long, till you're within an inch to an inch or a half inch from the bottom of the lift tube. And then the lift tube, the bottom of that lift tube gets inserted into the hole in the top of the sponge, like so. Make sure it goes in an inch or so. You don't need to shove it all the way to the very bottom. Keep it up a half an inch or so. That little cavity in there keeps a draw space for you. Connect it to your air supply, put it in your tank, you're all set. Now, this filter can either be your permanent filter for the tank, or it can be just a starter culture that activates the rest of your filtration. Either one is fine. If it's just a starter culture, you never need to order more than one. If you're going to actually use sponge filters to filter your tank, and they're superb filters for tanks, then order the appropriate number for the size of tank with the number of fish that you're keeping in the tank, and how much food you're putting in the tank. That bio load is what determines how many you need. Okay, so after you have this in your tank for a week or two, if you don't want to leave the sponge filter in your tank, you can just take it out, put it in another tank, or hide it in the corner of the tank. It's great to have for a hospital tank, to have a spare sponge filter ready to go, or when you have a new tank you're going to set up for a quarantine situation, it's great to have a new sponge filter. Or if you're medicating a tank, you're likely to kill your other biological filtration, and after you're done medicating, you want to be able to pop one of these in. So having a few of these around in another tank is a great idea. That can give you a little advanced planning to prepare for other things that you can use active sponge filters for. Okay, that about wraps it up for today on our sponge filter video. If there's any questions on this that you want to specifically give us, we'll attempt to answer at least some of them on our next video, so you'll get a little personal attention. We appreciate you tuning into this, and we wish you good luck in the future with your fish.